Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I've read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next, and I'm wearing glasses for a couple of reasons. But the main one being my head's been bad this week, and contacts can make it worse. I also had this thing where my cat sneezed into my eye, and nothing bad's happened, but, contacts can be a breeding ground for biofilms, which is like a bacterial thing, and normally I don't care, but my cat just sneezed in my eye, so I'm gonna give my eyes a few days of just natural oxygen. And, these glasses are cute. So, since we last chatted, I have finished 3 things. I didn't even know if this video would happen, because my grandma's been in town. So I've been busy with them, busy prepping classes, busy having a headache, and we're going out of town in T-minus 3 hours. And so I'm filming this. I don't know when you're seeing this. Who knows? I still have so much to do. But I figured I'd film it. I have some time to film it. So it's going to be probably quick. It's probably not going to be too much to say, she says, as a rambler. So I finished Midnight Timetable. And actually it was really cool. We have a bookstore called Loganberry Bookstore here. It's not in Shaker Heights, but it's very close to Shaker Heights in Cleveland on Larchmere Street, which also happens to have my favorite Brazilian food in the Cleveland area. And when you go on your birthday, you get to get a book out of a book box, which is like a bunch of ARCs and beat up book copies. And so my mom had her birthday, and so she got an advanced reader copy of this. This is still my library copy. I just really like this. I am excited to read Cursed Bunny. I'm excited that we're gonna... Oh, I forgot. My friend sent me a postcard. I'm excited to talk about this with other people in a few months. Another solid entry in the Ursula K. Le Guin Award in Fiction time. I don't really know what else there is to say. I feel like last time I talked with you guys, I was probably halfway through. I've just been really vibing with short stories at night lately, hence me releasing a short story collection video on Tuesday, because it's just been on my brain. I know it's not as well loved of a form of reading, but I think people are doing themselves a disservice, because I think you can just have a lot of fun with short stories. It's kind of like the difference between, a movie and a TV show. They do different things, and they can do different things really well. So yeah. I do believe I mentioned last week, maybe I didn't, if I didn't, you're finding out right now, I decided to reread Part of Your World, because I wanted to, and so I did, and it was a great decision. I'm pretty sure I talked about this last week. It's still not my favorite, just because, there's some issues that our main character Alexis goes through that I'm just I get why you are who you are. It's actually well grounded in your circumstances, but also you need to chill. You need to chill. You need to think a little more clearly. And she does do amazing things once she thinks clearly. If you probably have heard of Abby Jimenez. If you're someone who wants to try out some contemporary romance, I do think she's probably the best at balancing a lot of why people read the genre. So if you are someone who wants insight into why, I think this is probably a more accessible entry point than, say, an Allie Hazelwood. Because I think Allie Hazelwood can sometimes, especially the earlier works, be a little more fan fiction-y. The characters don't feel as real. I think Alexis and Daniel are real. They feel like real people handling things. This definitely, like I said, it has a lot of familial and partner emotional abuse and things that Alexis has to get through. And, yeah. But there is still, the fantasy of a romance in it. A romance is not a fantasy novel, but it is, a fantasy. There is, I go into a romance book not expecting a completely grounded world, but I also don't want, a Hallmark movie, which is a little bit too, twee fantastical for me. This is fantastical in that, I know financially everything will work out. There's, things going on here that I'm just I know it'll be fine. I know the way they love each other isn't, exactly similar to how everyone in the world will find romantic love, but it's just, a fun fantasy. And then I finally finished Notes from a Regicide today. Fresh thoughts. This is too shiny. I will give you... I'm not even using my ring light today, because then you would not see my beautiful face, because you would just see the circles in my glasses. But this is still too shiny because of the window to my left. So, Notes from a Regicide. This and Death of an Author are very interesting to me, because they're both science fiction books that they're more they aren't really leaning on a science fiction premise so much as allowing themselves to play with science fiction elements, but the story itself is very much just a grounded human tale that, like, if you removed the science fiction elements, doesn't change dramatically. Like, if you set this book, like, in a historical time period or the now, it's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, and I think that's kind of the point, it's showing the timelessness of being othered and oppressed and revolutions. It's an interesting thing. It's a book that I definitely appreciate more than I like, which is always an interesting type of book for me. Like, I'm really glad that it's gotten to be on the Ursula K. Le Guin Award in Fiction list. Even though I wouldn't have enjoyed it that much, I think I could see an argument for it to being on other award lists. I don't know about Hugo. If only because I don't think that the author should really be on the Hugo list. And that has more sci-fi in it than this one. This is a far future world, but you really can't tell because they've lost a lot of tech, so it feels older. But, like, that's not the point. Like, it's not about the world. Like, it's about a country. Like, there's a made-up secondary country. So in that way, I guess maybe it feels more like what you read in a fantasy because of the secondary world building of it all. Regardless, it is speculative in its world building in that we have Stevensport, which is a made-up, futuristic place that has technology that can basically make people live forever, but kind of not all the time, and it messes up their government system. But I can't really explain it that much to you because that's not, like, the point. Like, literally, the notes from a Regicide you're reading from Antoine is someone who's, like, actively not a part of the revolution, but, like, not because they wanted to be, and their partner kind of is, but even he doesn't know that much about what she's doing. So half the book is about that, which I didn't really care about that much. So the half of the book that is the secondary world building and the sci-fi elements, I was like, whatever about. But the part that's, like, their present day in New York, so it's still, like, so like I said, there's, like, it's kind of like Genovia in Princess Diaries is, like, the fake place, and then so it's Stevensport, and it changes name based off who's the ruler and stuff like that. Like, I know little bits about it. And then you have New York. And for some reason, in this far future, you aren't allowed to get married if you're gay, but you are 100% allowed to be trans and get the medical treatment you want. It's very interesting. But, like, this book is about, like, a trans man being raised by this trans couple who have a sordid history in Stevensport. And I think, like, the people part of it, like, if I was reading this as, like, a literary fiction, I really like it because it's, like, one of those, like, we're just following this messy, loving family and all of its dynamics. Like, Zafra has this mental health issue, Antoine has a lot of disabilities and baggage from their times in prison, and then Griffin has their emotional and physical abuse from their father, their biological father, and, you know, they're processing their relationship with their adoptive parents, which is, like, not abusive but not perfect, and, like, coming of age, and it's got a lot of really good human stuff in it. It doesn't have a very strong momentum for me. I could see someone finding this absolutely page-turning if, like, the writing style, like, sung with their brain. It just happened to not sing for mine. So it wasn't a page-turner. In terms of plotting, it's not a plot-forward story whatsoever. Like, if you're reading it and you're like, I wonder, you know, where it's going. It's going exactly where you are. Like, it doesn't really change. There's one half that's about the past and about what Zafra and Antoine did, and is the present day of Griffin growing up and what he did with them until they passed away. And that's all it's doing. And, like, it's not like they are hiding any twists or turns. It's not like it becomes something bigger. It's truly just kind of like a personal memoir by this guy, Griffin. And so it feels kind of epistolary in that way because he's commenting on what he writes and comments on the notes. So I really appreciate it. I think it's, like, really well crafted. I just, like, didn't love my reading experience of it that much. So, you know, when I decide to finally star rate anything again, I'll have to think about that. But another book I read because the Ursula K. Le Guin Award in Fiction, so wasn't that fun. Don't know what I'm going to read next. I'm actually in the mythical space of I have 0 things that I'm currently reading. So I got to figure that out. because that's, and all the awards for voting are over. So now I just I don't really have direction at the moment. Like, the things I have the most direction in are that I need to read these two because of, a TBR swap or TBR spin. But I don't know. I'll put them on my Kindle and I guess see which one speaks to me. I want to have a short story collection. I have so many to choose from. I can do one from the Ursula K. Le Guin Award in Fiction. I think there's one called Call and Response that's been getting a lot of good buzz that I have somewhere, I think over there. I also have this book coming out soon that could be really good if I want a short story collection. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to read. I finished Jane the Virgin. And so now I don't know what I'm watching. I need to finish Smallville. That's what I probably should do. And we watched the final season of The Bear in approximately 24 hours. The first night, we watched 2 episodes. We were very demure, very understated. And then the next night, when we picked up the show again, thinking we'll just watch a couple episodes, we just finished it. So maybe it was more 28 hours. Within 28 hours we finished it, but it was just we finished that. We inhaled it. Ryan and I both really love seasons 1, 2, 4, and 5. We're fine on season 3. It has great moments, but it's not that strong for us. And I think I really liked this most recent season. I think it for what I come to the show for. It had a lot of consistent growth. It had a lot of payoff. It still had the tension. I liked the format of this season. So I had a great time. I felt satisfied. And Silo, it needs to stop pissing me off about how much it's we're going to reveal something this episode. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. No, it doesn't. It's too long to be that cute with me. If you're a 44-minute episode, you can do that with me. But you're an hour. And what's even happening? Anyways, I feel the episodes are too long. Or maybe the episodes are the perfect length, but I just don't care about the people. I just want the answers to the questions. And I just want to know. Anyway, so that's what we're, watching. So good luck for me. I don't know what I'm going to be reading. I don't know what reading even is. What is reading? I have all of my classes start on Monday, and I have a lot of them. Maybe not all of my classes. 7 of my 8 start on Monday. So I'm also just a little I'm doing this instead of setting up my classes. Making smart decisions. Alright, so let me know what you're reading, doing, watching. If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here. Picture frame? I think there's picture frames. Family portrait. If not, a paintbrush. And otherwise, if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.